Welcome to yet another edition of Kingdom Business. I'm Kumbira Inongo. We're privileged to have on this edition TAPIWA CHIZANA, a partner with one of the leading audit firms in Zimbabwe. TAPIWA, thank you for joining us on Kingdom Business.
Thanks so much, Kumbi. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, just for the benefit of our viewers, a brief summary of who you are.
Sure. I'm married to my wife, Flora. I've got 3 kids, 8 years, 5 years, and 2 years. I live in Bulawayo. That's a summary of my personal life. As you mentioned, I'm a partner at Deloitte.
Yes.
I'm involved in business rescue as well as auditing.
Okay.
I'm responsible for the Bulawayo office of Deloitte. And then within the region, I've got a role within Deloitte Central Africa. Central Africa is Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Malawi.
Okay.
And I'm responsible for risk and reputation in those 3 countries, basically.
Wow, that sounds like a very solid portfolio that you're handling.
Sure, yeah.
Now, what did it take to get to where you are? What did you have to do?
Yeah, I think lots of hard work, the grace of God. I think there was definitely a season in the history of our nation where it kind of, paid, so to speak, to show commitment, to stick it out.
Yeah.
And I really felt God lead me to do that. And that enabled me to then be in, key positions, even at a relatively young age, to be able to serve God in the marketplace. So, yeah. So I think that's
well done.
Sure.
Now we probably have viewers out there, youngsters, aspiring to be chartered accountants,
Sure.
to work for a firm like Deloitte in the future. What do you have to do to get there?
Lots of hard work. I actually didn't do accounts for A-level. So I literally started accounts from my degree.
You didn't do accounts at A-level?
I didn't do accounts from A-level.
So are you saying that you can be a chartered accountant without doing accounts at A-level?
Yeah, I think so. I think you obviously need to do the accounting degree.
At some point.
Yeah. But I think it's focus, hard work, I guess, and determination. So I didn't do accounts at A-level.
What did you do at A-level?
So I did maths, physics, chemistry.
Okay.
I thought I'd be an engineer.
Wow.
And then God led me differently. So I did my accounting degree whilst working at the same time.
Okay.
So I was studying at night, working during the day, until I then passed my chartered accountancy exams.
Wow.
Yeah.
Studying at night, working during the day,
Yeah.
that must be hectic. That's why you're saying hard work is involved here.
Yeah, and the seasons in life, and that was a season where I had to put on hold my social life, so to speak, and just kind of focus on what I felt I needed to do. And it wasn't easy, obviously, because people my age were going out having fun and that kind of thing, and I had to be in the books. But it
pays off eventually.
It pays off eventually, so I'm glad I kind of stuck it out, yeah.
Now, you mentioned the grace of God as a key attribute to your success. At what point did you decide to become a child of God in your life?
So I gave my life to Christ when I was about 15 at school. So I used to once in a while attend our scripture union. I went to school at Jamison in Kadoma.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was a boarder, and there were scripture union meetings, and I kind of occasionally would hear, the gospel. I grew up in a Christian family, but I don't think I'd actually made the decision for myself until that moment. I just remember the one time just saying to myself, look, next time there's a call, I'm going to respond. Yeah, and I definitely did that, and my life was transformed from that day onwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Life was transformed from that day onwards. Tell us some of the changes that you went through.
So I definitely was quite fearful, prior to that, quite fearful, didn't really have a clear purpose in my life. So when I kind of, came to know Christ, I felt I had just a new perspective to life, a purpose, joy. I felt that encounter I had with my loving Father just kind of grounded me in a sense, and just gave me hope.
More fear.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. So.
And then, as you were going up the corporate ladder, to what extent do you attribute a lot of that to being a believer in Jesus Christ?
To a great extent.
Okay.
I think the Bible teaches us to be diligent, to work hard. Scripture talks about how slaves should relate to their masters, and obviously the employer-employee relationship is different from that of a slave. Yeah. But there are some principles there as to how you should relate to those in authority, and how you should honor them, and how you should be faithful with another man's, before God can entrust you with your own. So I think a lot of those biblical principles, I try to apply in my life, and God's ways kind of work, I think, and I think applying those kingdom principles in my life then, resulted in some of the open doors and progression in my kind of professional life. Yeah.
Now, being a chartered accountant, you're exposed to a lot of businesses at one go. Tell us some of your best experiences so far in your job.
Yeah, so I think my best experience is probably my business rescue, one of my business rescue assignments. I'm a judicial manager for a business in Bulawayo. Yes. That about 2.5 years ago, I had been called in to actually liquidate the company.
Okay.
And then, 2-3 years later, the company is turning over about $250,000.
So you're telling me that this is kind of biblical. It's kind of biblical.
Right.
We've got these dry bones in the valley.
Right.
This company is set for closure.
Yes.
And now you're saying it's alive again.
It is. It is.
Wow.
Yeah, making about $250,000 a month turnover. In a period of 2-3 years, which in our economy is sterling. Is sterling, is something.
Yeah, it's something.
And just to think that it was actually, on the kind of docks.
Of collapse.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, what kind of business is that involved in?
So that business manufactures plastic bags, carrier bags,
okay,
and supplies, a lot of the retail supermarkets in Zimbabwe. So it's a privilege to be able to kind of help them back towards profitability in an economy such as ours. Yeah,
that's impressive. Now you mentioned Zambia, Zimbabwe, Malawi. How involved are you in those regions?
Yeah, so I'm what they call the risk and reputation leader. So basically in charge of overseeing the policies that protect the reputation of the firm, as well as all the risk kind of processes and policies we have in place with respect to our service delivery. As we interact with clients, because we offer a wide range of services, and our brand and our reputation is so important to us. So whenever we engage with clients, we want to make sure that we deliver quality,
yes,
and in a way that serves the client as best as is possible. So that role is a kind of overseeing governance role. So I sit on the Central African ManCo. It's like a management committee, yes, that oversees the operations of that region. And my particular lane is to look at the issues of risk and reputation in every area that we operate in, yeah.
Well, I think we're going to talk a bit more about that, but we have to take a short break.
Okay.
Kingdom Business takes a short break. We're talking here with TAPIWA CHIZANA, a partner with Deloitte, and as you've heard, he's involved in various portfolios in Zambia, Zimbabwe, as well as Malawi. Stay tuned.